Just like the Tour de France route announcement last week, the Giro d'Italia launch is hotly anticipated. Those with Grand Tour ambitions will look closely at the route, pick apart the decisive stages, and will then select their training schedule depending on which Grand Tour suits them best. With the Tour de France now going for a route that perhaps suits modern cycling and the way it's going, only one stage over 200 kilometres, gravel, one short mountain time trial on the penultimate day, and plenty of climbing right from the off. So has the Giro followed suit or gone in a completely different direction? Well, it's gone its own way. So we have 5 things you need to know about the 2020 route. So here it is in all its glory. The 2020 Giro d'Italia totals 3,579.8 kilometers, kicking off in the Hungarian capital of Budapest for the Grande Partenza on the 9th of May with a short 8.6 kilometer time trial. It will be the 14th time that the Giro has started outside of Italy, and the peloton will tackle 3 stages before transferring to Sicily for stage 4. Interestingly, with no rest day in between. So there could potentially be some logistical considerations for the teams with regards to moving of equipment. The opening time trial features a 4% uphill to the finish, but it's unlikely to trouble the likes of Tom Dumoulin and Rowan Dennis, who could be licking their lips in anticipation of a spell in the Maglia Rosa. Which brings us to our first point. There are a total of 58.8 time trialling kilometres in the 2020 Giro, spread across 3 stages. The opening stage, as we mentioned, next we have stage 14, a gently undulating 33.7 kilometres from Conegliano to Valdobbiadene, a region famed for its Prosecco. Finally, stage 21 is no procession. It's a 16.5 kilometre time trial through the streets of Milan, which will have the GC Contenders fighting right up until the very end. Although, we shouldn't expect to see massive time games given its relatively short length. It will be the 77th time that the Corsa Rosa finishes in Milan. It will be interesting to see whether time trial specialists like Tom Dumoulin and Geraint Thomas fancy their chances on this route next year. Dumoulin has started the last 4 editions of the Giro, having it won the overall back in 2017 after reclaiming the leader's jersey from Nairo Quintana on the final stage, which incidentally was also a time trial into Milan. At just shy of 3,600 kilometres, this is set to be one of the longest editions of the Giro in recent memory. In fact, in the last 20 years, only the 2017 edition was longer. And while the Tour de France in 2020 will feature just 1 stage in excess of 200 kilometres, the Giro will have 10 of them, the longest of which comes on stage 19, a massive 251 kilometres from Marbella to Asti. It's going to make for some long days in the saddle, particularly when we come to the high mountains in the final week of the race. Speaking of mountains, let's see what's in store for the climbers in next year's Giro. There will be a total of 8 summit finishes, and the first mountain test comes in the first week. As they transfer to Sicily from the Grande Partenza in Hungary, stage 5 will see the riders climb to Mount Etna from the northern side. The road to Piana Provenzana is 18.2 kilometres and averages 6.8%, so we'll be sure to offer a stern early test. The day after the time trial on stage 14, the race heads to another summit finish at Piancavallo before the final rest day and absolutely brutal final week. Stage 17 features more than 5,000 metres of climbing from Bassano del Grappa to Madonna di Campiglio, a climb last used in 2015, with that stage going to Mikel Landa. The highest point on the 2020 Giro route comes the following day on stage 18. After a brutal climb straight out of the blocks in Pinzolo, the riders will take on the formidable Stelvio Pass. Standing at 2,758 metres, the snow-lined road to the summit is an iconic Giro image, and we can only hope that the weather holds out so we can enjoy it in all its glory. It will be the 10th time that the Stelvio takes the accolade of the Cima Coppi. After a long descent, the finale remains in the Stelvio National Park with the climb to Laghi di Canciano, which was used in the 2019 Giro Rosa. Probably the queen stage of this year's race will be the penultimate one. Stage 20 starts in Alba and climbs all the way to Colle dell'Agnello at 2,744 metres before descending into France and climbing the Col d'Izoard and the Monte Ginevra. The final climb to Sestriere is 11.4 kilometers at 6% and will be the final climb of the 2020 Giro. Defending champion Richard Carapaz has now moved from Movistar to Ineos. Clearly, the pack attack formula at the Spanish team wasn't working, but with both Quintana and Landa moving on, and with the number of Grand Tour winners and contenders at Ineos, would he have been better to stay where he was? Regardless, the altitude meters in the final week will suit him, and he'll have plenty of strong teammates to call on. Recent history is not in the Ecuadorian's favour, however. The last rider to successfully defend the Maglia Rosa was Miguel Indurain in 1993. Geraint Thomas, Tour de France winner in 2018, runner-up in 2019, but looking at the growing number of Grand Tour riders in his team, especially with Bernal and Froome eyeing the Tour, might Ineos opt for a Thomas Carapaz duo here at the Giro? Next up, can Tom Dumoulin recapture the magic at Jumbo-Visma, or again will it be a case of too many chiefs? Looking at the route, the Giro again looks like it could be better suited to Dumoulin. He was looking good for the 2019 Giro, but after crashing on stage 4, the subsequent knee injuries he sustained plaguing the rest of his season. If he goes for it again next year, it would be the 5th year in a row that Dumoulin rides the Giro. Jumbo-Visma, of course, also have both Primož Roglič and Steven Kruijswijk, but you would think that both of those riders would fancy their chances at the Tour de France. The Yates brothers. Adam or Simon? Simon Yates, of course, was something quite extraordinary in the 2018 Giro until Chris Froome romped away and ultimately took the overall. Simon clearly loves the Giro, so I'm going with him over Adam. He changed his style in 2019. He was more controlled and more reserved, but is that the right tactic for him? Maybe like Alaphilippe at the Tour, his best tactic might just be shock and awe. Attack when you feel like it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you go away a hero anyway. Of course, we also have the likes of Vincenzo Nibali now at Trek Segafredo, Wout Poels and Mikel Landa at Bahrain Merida, and many more besides. He's a triple world champion, has 7 Tour de France green jerseys in his closet, but somehow we've never seen Peter Sagan on the Giro d'Italia start list. However, that's all set to change in 2020. He was among the attendees at the route unveiling in Milan, and he looks likely to make his Giro debut next year. According to the organisers, there are 6 stages for the sprinters and 7 of medium difficulty. As he's shown at the Tour, Sagan is not only very consistent over 3 weeks, but incredibly versatile on a variety of terrain. You certainly wouldn't bet against him bagging at least a stage win at the first time of asking. If the rumours are true, of course. So in summary, 3 time trials, 6 stages for the sprinters, 7 intermediate stages and 5 high mountain stages, all starting on Saturday the 9th of May 2020. We can't wait. What do you think of next year's Giro route, and who do you think might have a shot at winning the pink jersey? As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. For another video, check out this week's Racing News Show, where we take a look at the 2020 Tour de France route in a little more detail. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.